ABC DVD, two brothers' alphabetical journey through a DVD collection that is actually full of babies. I'm Noah.
I'm Josh.
And yes, today we will be doing Baby Driver.
Ooh,
an Edgar Wright film, and up front, everything, fair and equal. Edgar Wright is probably one of our favorite directors.
Yeah, we're a little bit of Edgar Wright fanboys here.
Yeah, so if you need some salt, shake that salt out.
Run across the rim of your margarita glass.
Exactly. We're going to probably be a little more positive on this one. But
let's start out with a negative of what a difference a week can make with this movie. It has Kevin Spacey in it, and when I saw it, we all liked Kevin Spacey as an actor.
When you showed it to us, Kevin Spacey was no longer good.
Yeah, so
and if you don't know why, look it up.
And go, ew.
But
yeah, so it's like, so that kind of, it could have influenced your viewing, but apparently you liked it just as much as I did.
Yeah, so. all things fair and equal.
Yeah.
But yes, this came out June 28th, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It was directed and written by Edgar Wright, who is known for Shaun of the Dead, One Night in Soho, World's End, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, all things that we love.
Things, yeah.
It's like, did he name more than 3? I did, because I love them all, and you're going to have to deal with it because it's my podcast.
I had to deal with it. It's my podcast. Well, yeah. I love those movies. Yeah.
It stars Ansel Elgort. He's known for The Fault in Our Stars and the Divergent series.
He loves those young adult book turned into movies kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Lily James, who is in Cinderella, Mamma Mia, and one of the many Pride and Prejudices.
Yeah, there's so many of those. So many. So much pride, so much prejudice.
I'm gonna, if you go into the IMDb, I don't like how they gave their top billing, but John Hamm is also in there. He's from Mad Men, The Town, and $1 Million Arm. They also did not put Kevin Spacey in the top billing. I'm going to put Kevin Spacey in the top billing because he's in the movie a lot. Yeah. He's known for The Usual Suspects, LA Confidential, American Beauty, tons of other things.
Yeah.
But, no. This is fun. After being coerced into working for a crime boss, a young getaway driver finds himself taking part in a heist doomed to fail.
Yep, it's always that. You got these good heists and these bad heists, and there's always that job.
There's always that one job. But we start the intro with an old iPod. I don't remember if they were new iPods at this time, but we focus on an iPod.
Well, I also love before we even get into the movie, we get the studio.
Oh, that's right.
The studio
intros,
and instead of their normal music, we get a tinnitus whine.
That's true.
The ringing in the ear, and that's kind of important for the story. And it's like I like that when we don't have music in this movie. You hear the tinnitus whine.
Yeah, you get the ringing in your ears.
So, but yeah, we get our first heist.
But you get what will be Baby.
Yeah,
singing to a song, acting like a teenager who's really into his music. He's doing the violins. He's singing to it. You see him drop people off and them go into a bank. And you realize that this is a heist.
Yeah, and like he's just enjoying himself in the car, and the windshield wipers are going into beat with the song, and you think that's just coincidence. But I'm going to be harping on this for most of this movie. This movie has been edited around music.
Yes,
highly. So.
Yes, and there's lots of things hidden here. We'll get to most of them. Yeah. This is an interesting movie to try to review because there are so many fast-paced scenes. The way we'll do is like. We'll just pick out the best parts because you find out that Baby is a very, very good getaway driver. And you see it in this first getaway of him doing moves that normal people could not do. And in this way, he is able to escape the law by hiding amongst two cars of the same color and then veering out.
Yeah, I mean, the people in the heist don't even know what he's supposed to do because they point forward and he's going backwards. And all the driving stunts are practical. There's no CGI for those. They got some phenomenal talent to stage and then execute these really amazing movements in one, in a single take. They're not cutting around it either. And as a fun little thing, that Ansel Elgort got this first car as a gift from the studio because of doing a good job. Is like he got the Subaru.
So you got to keep it.
You got to keep it. Yeah,
that's fun. But yeah, we get the after heist kind of walk and play thing, which is the intro to the movie, and I'm going to let you talk about it because you're really big about this scene.
So this is where, if you know Edgar Wright, he loves to play with editing. He loves his visuals as well as his storytelling, and this is him and just at the nines. So Baby is walking to the coffee shop listening to the song, and as you start to notice, the lyrics of the song show up as graffiti on the wall, as signs on buildings and street signs. The world is embodying this song, and it's not just like the lyrics. There's like the woman at the ATM as she's punching in her number. It's to the beat. It's adding to the whole sound of the world.
Right, like Baby when there's a trumpet is right by a trumpet shot.
Yeah. So this is a long series of takes that don't get cut with editing. So
well, and another thing that Edgar Wright loves to do in his movie is to foreshadow and almost tell you the whole story. Is we see the love interest walk by while there's a graffiti heart over her head. So he tips his hat early on to let you know, like, hey, there's things that you're going to see, not on the first time, and maybe not on the second time, but if you rewatch my movies, you're going to get the joke.
Yeah, and so he gets the coffee, and it's a
Octane.
Octane. It's another nerdy reference because Octane is like a 8x8 beat or something like that, and if you listen to the song and the timing of the scene, it took 16 beats to get, it is an Octane.
Well, and also if if you're all about the cars, like a high octane vehicle
that too,
is also fast. I mean, there's layers upon layers here. But we come back and they're divvying up the cut, which is still to the beat of the music, and you get for a brief moment, you get Griff.
Yeah, played by John Barenthal.
Yeah, who is going to be like an antagonist, but he comes up, the antagonist comes up in many forms of someone always has a problem with Baby. The fact that he's either quiet or listening to music. And you get Doc, played by
Kevin
Spacey, basically like, there's nothing wrong with a little quiet.
Yeah. And I love that Griff is messing him with Baby and keeps knocking the sunglasses, and Baby keeps pulling new ones out, and he goes through 3 pairs. And this was apparently a kind of nod at his stealing of cars.
Yes.
Because what people tend to leave in their cars are sunglasses and iPods, and he has a huge collection of both.
Yes. But you get real quickly that Baby is in debt to Doc.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like, it's like, oh, you're almost paid off, one more job, and that'll be it. But I mean, it is one of those fun lines of Baby says, one more job and we'll be done, and Doc says, no more job and we'll be square.
We're straight.
Very much, the foreshadowing.
And we also get like John Barenthal saying, hey, if you don't see me again, I'll be dead.
Yeah, so we're assuming he's dead
because he's out of the movie now.
He's out of the movie.
He got second billing for that. It's like, all right,
whatever.
Yeah.
But we go back to Baby's apartment. He's there with what we'll find out is his foster father.
Yeah, played by C.J. Jones.
Yeah, who is a deaf man. But we see that Baby is very musically inclined. He moves with the music. He's very almost ballet-esque. I mean, you can kind of see why he got chosen for West Side Story. Of like, no, he's definitely got a artist's soul.
Yeah, I mean, this movie has been described as a musical without any of the singing or dancing. I mean, because it's like everything in the world is still influenced by a random song, and dance number. There's a fun moment here where they're watching the news and it's showing this recent heist, and so Baby starts changing the channels. This is another, Edgar Wright telling you what's going to happen in the movie ahead of time. Every line of dialogue that he scrolls past shows up later in the movie. It's like a quick one here, a dangerous one there. He uses one on Doc later on
from
Monsters Inc. And then a final foreshadowing of saying a bull that sees red is a dangerous thing kind of thing.
Right. And we also see that he likes to not only listen to music but to record things and then remix them in his own way, because music is the way he understands
the world.
And we do get the first flashback when he sees a recording of his mother a flashback to an obviously bad accident.
Yeah, the car accident, yeah.
We now switch to the next character we meet is he's at a diner, and he meets Lily James, who plays Deborah, come in, and she's singing, and that is when he first kind of notices her.
Yeah, because she's speaking his language. She's speaking in music. There's a fun little character development, or adds to his backstory of that he's reading the kids menu, and she kind of teases him about that. And then we learn that he's been coming here forever, and they think his mom worked there. And it's like, oh, the tape, and this is like he's trying to hold on to any memory of his mom whatsoever.
Well, it is that kind of sad thing of like, did he ever move past childhood? Because he's obviously between worlds.
Yeah.
But they do flirt well. I mean, you definitely do get movies where you're written as love interest, but I don't believe you're love interest. Whereas this one, he is that kind of awkward, charming, and he definitely knows how to come across as charming, and she digs him.
Yeah, it's not the creepy customer hitting on me. It's like the I'm into this customer and kind of thing.
Well, and she's flirty herself, and they definitely click. But then Baby gets the call.
Yeah.
He's been summoned for the next job with the new crew.
Which he thinks is his final job.
But this is, in theory, quoting fingers, his final job. But we get a new crew, and this is where you learn, a lot of things about Baby. You have
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is going to be the new antagonist
as Bats. Yeah,
and he does not like Baby, and you basically like, why is he listening to music? And Doc says, well, he's got tinnitus, he can't. He always has a ringing. But he's very much the, well, why do we need this kid? You get a backstory. It's like, well, when he was little, he stole a car and drove it around. He goes, and he stole one of my cars, and that's why he's in debt to me, because he totaled it. And you do get a fun Edgar Wright joke at the expense of movies like this. He goes, listen, I just explained that whole backstory, and I drew a map. That's amazing.
Yeah, he drew a map on the exposition. He drew a map of the whole past and the whole story and the next heist. Well, and there's some fun Easter eggs that I think are intentional, because in this crew there's Eddie No-Nose, who's played by Flea of the band the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then they mentioned that he was the kid who stole the car of the Spirit of 85. And then Kevin Spacey's Doc. These are all making me think these are Back to the Future references.
They're very well could be.
Yeah.
But Doc's basically gives the plan, but we get it from the perspective of Baby. We're listening to music. You actually don't hear the plan, and you see Jamie Foxx getting more and more irritated by this, to where he says like, well, she's supposed to be our getaway driver, and I don't think he heard one word.
Yeah, he's not paying attention.
And Baby gives a recap,
a word perfect, basically.
Showing he is very attuned. He is very smart. He is paying attention. And that lays it out for us. And so we get to the next thing. And the one thing that I really like is the joke of, they're supposed to have Michael Myers masks, from the Halloween movie. They come with Mike Myers, the actor from...
with Austin Powers.
With Austin Powers mask. And he goes, no, we said the Halloween mask. These are Halloween masks. No, the killer. Oh, and it's just a fun play on words.
It's a really stupid fun joke, and it's fun. It happened because they were going to actually use the Mike Myers Halloween mask, but they couldn't get licensing for it. So they called Mike Myers, the actor, saying, hey, we have this idea of using the Austin Powers face, and explain the joke. And he's like, oh, that's hilarious. You got to do it. Yeah. And I find it amusing that they couldn't get the licensings of the original Halloween mask, because that in itself is an unlicensed William Shatner mask. So just... Hollywood eating its own tail kind of thing.
Right. But I like it that they're getting ready to start the heist, but since they delayed, Baby has to start the song over. Yeah. So no, I got to start the song over, and I feel like I did this in high school. Like, you're driving around like, oh, I really like this music. Oh, I got to get back to this one part because we're at the right spot.
Yeah.
But he has a method and is like, no, we need to start at this moment.
Yeah.
And the heist starts, and it doesn't go to plan. There's
a vigilante soldier hero guy who wants to stop them.
Right, but it does show that Baby can go off script. He doesn't have to be.
Yeah, you're not the drive back isn't a set thing. It's like you just need to get to this area,
and he can improvise on the fly. But this also shows that he is a different caliber of criminal, because Jamie Foxx has already killed someone.
And you see Baby not being happy about that.
Not that. But you come across when they have to go hijack another car, is they hijack a mother, and the baby's still in there, and he removes the baby while Jamie Foxx is like, no, keep the baby in the car.
Yeah, it's like
a collateral thing. But he's like, no, he has a line in the sand that he's just not willing to go through.
And I also love the continuity of this movie is spot on, because I noticed this time the one guy in their crew who lost his shotgun, which is a big point, he lost it because his is the only one that didn't have a strap that could attach to himself, so he just left it behind. So it's like, oh, you could see that ahead of time that he wasn't as well prepared.
But they do make it back. Baby does his ritual of going to get coffee, but the music is a little off.
Yeah, and he's not in sync with the world. He's bumping into people, and we don't get the whole song because it's not as good of a job.
Right, and we come back and we see that there is one less crew member, and Jamie Foxx is like, well, I'll drink his coffee.
Yeah,
we get to where he's all squared away.
Yeah.
He just has to go dispose of
the
body of the crew member who did not make it.
Yeah.
And then we get the biggest flashback to his parents dying, is that you see that his parents were in the music industry. She was a singer.
Yeah.
There was obviously a lot of tension between his father and his mother that ended up with a
argument while they were driving.
While driving, right after he got his first iPod.
Yeah. Which made me feel old, because he was just like a little kid. I was like, well, we got an iPod. I think I was in high school and
I was in college. So it's like, we're older than Baby.
Yeah.
But we understand what this has to do with everything as he's getting rid of this car and this body. He has that kind of thing, like, I'm free. Yeah. He's feeling good. He basically his first thing is that he wants to take
Deborah on a date, and she's like, well, I gotta do errands. It's like, well, I'll do them with you. And they go do laundry, and I love the practical of having all the dryers in sync with different colors. It is like a phenomenal musical number, but it's just dryers.
Well, it is, and this is going to be the thing where I was like, I think the actors work as potential lovers is because they are really close to you, and I think it's that kind of that sexual tension that when a director and actors do it right, you can feel the chemistry.
Yeah, that they're getting closer and they're messing with each other, and
and it's that early romance. You also see that Baby's foster father is really excited because he's out of this life, and he can go get a quoty fingers, honest job. Yeah,
which was a pizza delivery, which I did.
Which
find
is
amusing.
cute. It's like they didn't make a meal out of it. It's like, but it's like I know what I did there. But it's like he delivers pizzas really fast and gets really good tips because he's still doing his thing.
He still can drive, and then he
takes
her on a date, and I was like, I'm hoping that's the foster father's car. Like, he didn't steal someone's car. I mean, shows up later in the movie, so I assume
it's the foster. But
it did cross my mind. I was like, whose car is that?
He stole it. But he takes her out for really, and it is a short-lived happiness because Doc shows up and basically says like, well, we're getting ready for our next job. He goes, no, I'm done. He goes, no. We're square.
Yeah.
We're not done. I use you on every job.
You're my good luck charm.
And then proceeds to do only Kevin Spacey could do this kind of way of threatening him without being aggressive.
Yeah, there's no growl. It's like, no.
It's like, I know who she is. I know who you live with. I know everything about you, baby.
And it's like I can break your legs and they can be dead. So do you want to be a wheelchair alone, or do you want to be rich and work for me?
It's like well, I guess.
Yes, I'm working. It's like, all right, the gun is to my head kind of thing.
Yeah, so we're going to do the next job, which is robbing a post office, and Baby's job is to scope it out with Kevin Spacey's nephew, which is a savant in his own right.
Yeah, and this was apparently Edgar Wright took this from actual criminal story, who said he took his kid or his nephew because no one suspects the guy with the kid.
Well, it has fun lines because the little kid is so snarky of, the teller is like, "Oh, I have a mint with your name on it. You have a mint with Sammy on it."
It's like
it's cute. It works from a kid.
It's like, oh, you little a-hole. Here's your mint. Yeah.
But we have another moment where the teller actually recites a Dolly Parton song. And she has that moment with Baby because she did.
Yeah, she's talking about music, and this Dolly Parton song is important for the rest of the film because she quotes the lyrics of after a storm, there's a rainbow kind of thing, and it's like that's the rest of this film,
right?
You know?
But Baby is already hesitant about this job because he knows how these jobs are getting more and more violent.
Yeah.
But you get to go meet the new crew, which is now John Hamm, Jamie Foxx, and
Eliza Gonzalez, who plays Darlene,
who were in the first one. So we get the mixture of the two crews together.
Yeah. So it's that like he works with the same people, but they're not. It's like that they're not all the same at the same time.
Right.
So.
Baby knows all these people. They don't necessarily know each other.
They don't know each other. Yeah.
You do get John Hamm wants to be Baby's friend. Who's bonding over songs. And so it is kind of setting up this like, oh, we like John Hamm. We don't like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx has feelings about music because he had a job where someone wouldn't do the job because they heard a Quotey Fingers cursed song on the radio. And he's like, I have no time for this.
Well, and there's a fun moment where Jamie Foxx is explaining the tinnitus, and Darlene's like, "Oh, yeah, like Barbra Streisand had." It's like, "Do I look like I care about Barbra Streisand?" Edgar Wright was terrified of, well, not terrified, but was like worried of upsetting her, and Jamie Foxx is like, "No, I'm friends with her. She's a gangster. She'll love this."
Babs will come back with you with a fury of vengeance.
Just like, you don't want to mess with Babs, but I do love that we get this idea of John Hamm saying that he used to be a driver, he used to have his driving song, and then bonding over it. It's like it's kind of that foil of if Baby doesn't get out of this, he could turn into a John Hamm.
Exactly. But you get that they're going to be stealing money orders. They're doing the let's do it. And there's a foreshadowing Edgar Wright style of Baby drops the car.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of looks over like, whoa.
Yeah. And it's like, that's what happens to the car at the end. It gets dropped off.
But basically they're saying, it's like, we're doing this right away. Y'all have to stick together. No one's going home. And then we get, I'll say that the gum incident. And this is to set up that these are all very dangerous people. Is John Hamm and
Eliza Gonzalez are talking about killing.
They kill people if they look at them wrong. They are not hinged people.
And Bats kills the guy in the convenience store just because he doesn't want to pay for it.
He doesn't want to pay for the gum. These are not safe people. You can't just cross them easily. But their job is to go see the butcher, and I really like this scene because it reminds me of John Wick.
Yeah, with the where
it's like we're going to be saying criminal things, but we're going to do it in a clever,
interesting and clever way.
Yeah, so the butcher is talking about all these cuts of pork, but it's really like, do you want some grenades? Because it's good for smoking
pigs.
Or do you want the? And it's like, it is fun.
It's a very well written scene.
Yeah, and then there is a shootout, which is fun because it's all done to the beat of Tequila.
Yeah, all the gun beats in this entire movie are to the song that's being played, and it is very apparent to the Tequila where they're pulling it at the same beat.
Yeah,
and you can hear the music with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But everyone is really upset with Jamie Foxx for pulling this stunt.
Yeah.
And they're headed home, and Jamie Foxx is like, well, I want to go to that diner. And Baby knows what's in that diner. He goes, I don't want to go there. And Jamie Foxx is like, well, now we're definitely going there. Yeah. And it sets the stakes up good because we now all know that these are all dangerous people.
Yeah.
And you basically are worried for Deborah, who is now serving them.
Yeah.
And it's done great. It's like, not a meal is made out of who she is.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Foxx is messing with John Hamm, saying like, I don't think you're a real criminal.
Yeah.
I think you used to be a straight-laced
Wall Street guy
who just happens to dabble in crime.
Yeah, it's like, which makes you a bigger criminal than I'll ever be, but this is your vacation. This is my life.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
So I think, and
and as we learned from the convenience store, that he's going to kill her just so that he doesn't have to pay.
Yeah, she drops the check off. He's like, well, and he looks around like, there's no one here, so I can kill someone. And Baby's like, no. And he goes, fine, then you pay her.
Yeah.
And then saves it. He gives her the note like, we need to get out of here tonight.
And then we get the fun code word of bananas.
Yeah, he's just like, throw bananas, like, and you get it that the cops that Jamie Foxx killed were Kevin Spacey's cops, and he's not happy about this. And I think in any other movie, there's like, no, the job's off. You messed it up. Is they somehow
keep the job going
through democracy. As Baby is the deciding point of let's just do it.
And it's like, because it's like, if he does this, is going to come to a killing, and he just wants to get out.
He just wants to get done.
And I also love like Doc's power play of, it's like, dead people ain't going to tell my name, and it's like, well, they need a Ouija board to figure out my name. It's like, it wouldn't take them long to spell it. It's like, Bats ain't my real name. It's like, it is still short Leon.
Yeah,
it's like, I know who you are,
and now they all know who you are. I'm not playing around. But we get the first. I guess, the first fantasy of he's dreaming about Deborah and a car and getting out.
Black and white, and then in this fancy car. And
so he does his 2 a.m. escape, but John Hamm stops him saying, I have a lot on my plate. I don't need to worry about you. Thinking he's just
trying to get out of here or something.
Or just, he's like, no, we're not getting out. But then Jamie Foxx drops the hammer of, we got a problem. I found your recorder.
Yeah, and then him trying to cover it, and they knock him out, and they come back with the tapes, and now he's worried that Joe's dead.
And that they're like, this is off. We're gonna kill you. And
he tells the truth, and it's like, that's the stupidest thing. No one would make raps out of conversations. Like, play one, and it's like, oh my god, that's the dumbest thing. We almost died because of this.
Well, and it's like, they obviously have mistrust, but I think it's like that rock and a hard place. Like, he is the best driver, and we still need to do this. So they let him keep his job. And we do the heist, and it is an interesting setup where they drop everyone off, and it starts to rain.
That's the beat. Rain. And this song is. It's on beat, everything's still on beat, but this song is an interesting choice because it sounds a little offbeat, a little off key. It is not a comfortable song like the other ones which were rocking. This is showing that this is not a good this is not a good
situation. And Baby makes eye contact with the teller. They both have a moment. He basically shakes his head like, don't do it. She runs to get
security
help, and that's when Jamie Foxx comes back and
kills the security guard.
Which I'm really surprised they didn't kill the teller too. But in that moment, Baby makes a choice and basically crashes the car, killing Jamie Foxx.
Killing Bats. It's like, oh, okay,
And we get another chase scene, but on foot.
Yeah, and this one was almost cut out of the film, or was never filmed to begin with, because they were running over budget, and they said, hey, we could save a lot of money by not having this foot chase through the city. And Edgar Wright's like, no, this is an important part. I will take a smaller pay cut. I'll take
you let me have this.
It's like, I'll give you some of my money to the film so that we can have this.
And it is a fun. It plays with other action movies where it's like, he does a costume change and it fools no one.
Yeah, it's that we're looking at you in MCU. You can't just put on a hat and some sunglasses,
and then no one knows. Oh, that's clearly a different person. And it ends up with him in a parking lot, and he, ironically crashes into John Hamm
because even the best drivers can't get off parking lots safely. Those things are death traps.
Those are death traps. But we get a shootout where Baby doesn't have his music, and we get a very real world shootout where Eliza Gonzalez,
Darling, gets shot and killed, and that's been John Hamm's stabilizer. And now he sees red, and as we've been warned earlier in the film, when he sees red, people die. And now he's coming for Baby. He's coming for the cops.
But Baby makes a getaway. He does carjack someone, but doesn't in a very Baby way. I'm sorry. Here's your purse. Let me change the radio.
I gotta get the right song, and the radio. I can't control the radio, but maybe something's on there that I can drive to.
Yeah, and his first place he goes is back to the apartment, and Joe is okay because we're all thinking Joe's dead.
But luckily, he's just been beat up a bit.
He's been beat up. He gets him to safety by taking him to a retirement community. Kind of sets a recorder, so like, hey, this is my name. I'm deaf.
And uses all his ill-gotten goods to pay for the stay for Joe. But it's also like the police somehow track Joe's car to this place, and he's still on the run, but they can't catch him because he's Baby.
He goes back to the diner, and
John Hamm
already beat him there. And they basically have a standoff. I mean, if I have one complaint about this film when it does something, is when the police show up at the diner, they do the whoop whoop, turn the lights on, and it goes I just need to use the restroom. Like, was that necessary?
I mean, you could just walked in and you saw from the outside that it wasn't busy. You didn't need to get their attention of, I desperately need to pee.
Everyone, there's an emergency here. But
code 1, maybe 2.
Baby eventually shoots John Hamm.
Yeah, because John Hamm's look at the cop, he doesn't keep an eye on his gun, and I love that Baby grabs it immediately. He is practical.
He is practical, and it does show that he is willing to use force.
Yeah.
It's not his first choice, but but basically it's like Baby wants to go back for his tape, specifically his mother's tape.
And I love the carjack of the 2 stoners. It's like, do you even know how to use this gun? Have you even shot? It's like, yeah, like I have. And she's like, yeah, like 5 minutes ago.
And the stoners are like, fair enough.
Fair enough, okay.
But yeah, he goes back.
Doc's not happy.
Doc's not happy because everything's obviously been bungled.
Yeah.
I'm going to
slightly eye roll
is that, they convince Doc to let them go through the power of love. He's a mobster with a heart of gold.
I was in love once.
Yeah, I remember when I was in love.
But I do. We kind of glossed over that he caught Baby on his Monsters Inc. quote. It's like, stop quoting it. It pisses me off.
Yeah, it's like you don't play me. But
it's like when they're honest, he'll give them the tape. He'll let him out, and then he also has his own issues to deal with because the cops that got killed, their friends are coming for him.
Well, yeah, and they're down there when they're the elevator doors open and they're there, and
same
Doc
bananas.
Same bananas has to have a shootout. Also, while dealing with an angry John Hamm.
Yeah, Buddy's there and he runs over, Kevin Spacey. Doc is dead, but
and this whole time his face is in red. He's an angry bull.
Yes,
but we get one last chase through the parking garage,
and there was a fun moment in the planning of this heist, saying, get a car that maybe we can push a car in case we need to push a cop car.
Yeah, like an Escalade
or an Avalanche,
something.
And he gets in one of those cars to push a cop car off the roof, but Buddy isn't in that car.
No, but and eventually ends up with Buddy and Baby in a standoff, and he does the kind of sadistic thing where he basically blows out Baby's ears.
Yeah, he fires the gun right next to him.
And then he's like, I'm going to kill your girl now.
Yeah.
But it's the film is that Buddy doesn't succeed. He gets pushed off and falls into the car crash.
Yeah, so despite getting out of it, he still ends up in that car crash.
Mm-hmm. And Baby blacks out, and we wake up to him and Deborah on the road. It's nice and calm. This is where you think the movie is going to end up like, oh, they're going to go live happily ever after. They are stopped at a border.
Well, and I love that he touches the speaker like Joe did. He still can hear the music, and he knows it's his mom's song.
Exactly.
And he's got that one happy moment, but she's willing to go
Thelma and Louise it.
And it's like, no. This is not your world. This is my problem. And he turns himself in.
Yep. The cops come and get him in beat with the song that's playing. We do get a trial where everyone's like, yeah, he was a bad guy, but not a bad guy. That he, get all these people doing character witnesses like, well, he's just,
like Joe saying he was forced into this, that they threatened his life, and then like the teller's like, he warned me off, or the one was like, he returned my purse. It's
so he does get a 25-year sentence, but he's off in 5.
He could be off in 5 with good behavior.
And we get that his name is not Baby, it is Miles.
And it's Miles Power, and this is a pun, because if you say it fast enough, that's miles per hour.
Yep. And then we get the final scene, which...
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this is it real or not? Because he in theory gets out, and Deborah's there waiting for him in, like, a car in a nice dress. And
it is the black and white, but then it goes to color.
It goes to color, and it's real, and you get the rainbow at the end. Yeah. So you have your interpretation of, is this another fantasy like the one he had before where he wished he could live with his life, or is this the moment after the storm? And Edgar Wright's like, no, I left that up to you, and it's kind of funny because Ansel Elgort, who played Baby, said, no, this is a fantasy, where Lily James, who played Deborah, said, no, this is real. So even they, so it's up to you, and it's not, the movie does not hang on it. So, no. But it, and then it ends with the song Baby Driver with Simon Garfunkel, and you know what?
It works.
It works. This is a fun, action-packed movie. It's not usually Edgar Wright did comedies. This is more of just a pure action.
Well, and it's his first film in America, and I'd say his first real blockbuster action, because he was kind of doing not zany comedies, but he was doing
No,
farces.
it was referential, whereas like where you watch Hot Fuzz and you can see him referencing Bad Boys and other action movies. This was just like, I just want to make my own.
Yeah.
I might have a reference to Bullet or the French Connection, but it's not overtly. This is more of, I want to have my fun editing. And he loved doing as much as he could in camera. There was a fun story interview with John Hamm, who said, yeah, he wanted to make sure that he was as close to the actors as possible to see what they saw, because he said it was really hard to act while Edgar Wright was hanging on the edge of the trail car. It was like, there's this sunburned Muppet looking at me while I'm trying to act here.
No, and Edgar Wright does definitely have a panache for editing, and I think for the music, very much like a James Gunn, is the music does make the movie, and you can definitely see an evolution from like this all the way to One Night in Soho, which is very much also...
before this was like Scott Pilgrim, and both of the...
Yeah, they all have music really important music, and that's just, what he is. You definitely... The music is important. You can really, sink your teeth into it. Much like a Cannibal the Musical.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yes, yes. Our C movie is Cannibal the Musical, and you might scratch your head and be like,
what the heck is that?
What the heck is that? This is not obscure, but it is...
It's not a film school movie, but it is the first movie, I think, that Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the South Park guys, did right after they got out of school. And this was while South Park, the short, was being passed around and before it even got picked up. So.
But yeah, it is their first motion picture.
Yeah.
It is funny. It is weird.
It is cheap.
It is cheap.
Yeah.
It's not hard to find. I think you can even YouTube it.
Yeah,
but it is important enough because South Park is so much in the zeitgeist of society to see the first...
what could have been if South Park did happen.
Exactly. And so...
Yeah. So hopefully you watch Baby Driver and
it's Edgar Wright. If you haven't seen Edgar Wright, please watch an Edgar Wright.
And we still want to plug our email in case we made mistakes. And
if you got questions that we can answer next time. If you want to talk about Trey Parker, Matt Stone next time, our address is abcdvdpodcast@gmail.com. We will be looking at that, and we hope you have a good time.
All right.
Bye. The